$5,000 short of the $25,000 entrance fee.
You've got $22,000?
All I need now is another 2,000 and I'm in the game.
So he wins a smaller game.
5-card draw all right with you?
Whatever.
Mind if I take 6?
But it looks like Annabelle stole his winnings.
Me?
Twice.
Well, you have to admit I was much better the second time.
And the bank president owes him $1,000.
I need that money right now. Of course, he hasn't got the money.
Just give it to the end of the year.
Until he gets robbed.
And Maverick and Annabelle end up
In a stagecoach.
with Zane Cooper.
They're spineless.
That's right.
But when Maverick goes to collect his $1,000, $1,000?
He realized
That his $22,000
his $22,000 is already missing.
missing.
Get yourself together, man! Everybody's looking.
And
that's just the beginning.
It's a very simple plot.
Well, I've heard simpler. Let's just say the plot twists around more than a rattler on hot cement. There's Indians, Russians, crooks of all descriptions, and $500,000 at stake in the biggest poker game of the century. And this can sometimes bring out the devilish side in even the nicest of people.
Annabelle. How can I possibly go on without my wallet?
Now, you might think with stars like Mel, Jody, and Jim in the same show, they'd all be grabbing for top billing. But in Maverick, there was no such bickering. Everyone was in total agreement.
The film is all about Brett Maverick.
Well, I guess to put it simply, it's the story of Annabelle.
The story's really about my character. They call me Coop.
did he say that?
Well, the silly-looking creature's named Maverick.
An utterly charming, handsome, athletic.
She's beautiful, intelligent, witty, irresistible.
Larger-than-life American hero.
It's called Maverick. I mean, that's the name of the film.
I imagine they'll change that to
Annabelle, Flower of the West.
Zane Cooper, Lawman.
Zane Cooper, lawman.
Zane Cooper?
Is that what you said?
If you think James Garner looks kind of comfortable in that Old West getup, you're right. Let's take a look at an early casting call with the director and see why that might be.
Joseph, is the camera? Okay, next, please. Next! Next! Who's this guy? Turn around, let's have a look at you. Thank you.
James Garner. I'm here for the part of Zane Cooper, Marshall.
Okay, Mr. Garner.
Garner.
Garner, sorry about that. Sorry, I'm sorry I didn't read that. What's your name, sir? Have you had any experience in Westerns, Mr. Garner?
Garner.
Garner, sorry about that. Westerns.
In the late 50s, I starred in a television series. I created the role of Maverick.
Wow, that could come in very handy for us.
Certainly.
Well, thank you. Do you mind turning around?
So Jimmy got the part, and they were off and running. There was a movie to make, and it wasn't going to be easy. An army of filmmakers would travel thousands of miles through countless prairie dog towns. You could arm yourself for the journey, but nothing really prepares you for making a movie, especially one like Maverick.
It's a picture with a lot of size, a lot of scope, and a lot of beauty, and so we decided to open it up.
From camera trucks to prop truck and special effects and cast trailers and makeup trailers and bulldozers and Caterpillar, whatever, it adds up. I mean, there was times we had like up to 65 drivers.
So the wagon train hit the trail. First stop, Dodge City. In their excitement, they failed to realize Maverick wasn't shooting in Dodge City till someone spoke up.
This does not seem right.
And they turned around and headed towards Victorville, California. Now, while they're driving, let's talk a bit about Maverick. Who is this guy?
I'm Brett Maverick, man, and I'm pleased to meet you.
He's a gambler that respects the art of gambling.
Well, now, I bring all sorts of pluses to the table. I hardly ever bluff, and I never, ever cheat. He's inclined to drink milk and try and talk his way out of a problem rather than shoot or fight his way out of a problem.
Now, you might be wondering, how did Mel Gibson get to be Maverick? Well, since the trail boss and the star have a history, let's let them pick up the story.
Mel Gibson was the first person I thought of when we were casting Maverick. After all, we had done Lethal Weapon 1, Lethal Weapon 2, Lethal Weapon 3.
I've done action movies before, you know, but they've all been modern day with all the bang-bang and 9mm motorcycles and all that stuff.
Did he say bang bang?
Mel, he knows about 357 Magnum and the Rugers and all his automatics, but when it comes to the old six-shooter, in over his head.
Oh, please.
He's loved by the audiences, but he had to have some very special skills. He had to be able to twirl a six-shooter.
I never really, done a Western, so I had to, like, bone up on the...
I didn't.
He had to be able to really handle a deck of cards. Unfortunately, Mel couldn't do any of this stuff, but what are we gonna do? We had to use him. He's the biggest star in the world. That's Mel.
You'll cut that out, right?
Why don't we go to a clip?
What? Look, I don't see what's so great about it. Oh, Lord. Hey, where's the fire, son? I mean, I was just saying, I don't see what's so great about being brave. I mean, I'm a card player. You know, I play cards, and call me a gambler. I want to become an old gambler. You, on the other hand, are a gunfighter. And an exceptional one at that, from what I hear.
Yes, there would be showdowns.
Slow down, don't shoot.
Truth be known, playing Maverick was going to be a challenge. To prepare, Mel brought in the most experienced gun handler in Hollywood, straight shooting Phil Spangenberger.
I'm showing him both ways. I'm showing him not only what was correct to do, but what will look good on screen. So we'll mix the old with the new and come up with a nice blend of realism and entertainment.
Turn the camera off.
Soon enough, Mel was lightning quick on the draw. Yep, he'd come a long way in a very short time.
So if I decided to go up against you, I mean, what chance would I have had? Answer? 0. Absolutely none whatsoever. Want to see it again? Oh, come on, kid. Let's just play poker.
Was that fast? I thought that was fast.
Any of them.
Now, learning to play poker was a different story altogether. Mel learned card sharping from the best sleight of hand in the business, Gary Full House Frank.
Cards are hard. It's hard to work a deck of cards. It's years. Tough.
Too fast.
Constant practice. You don't need hands that are thick, thin, long, short. If you train them to tie a shoe, you can easily train them to do a one-handed cut.
After a few games of 52 pickup, Mel learned his way around the deck of cards like an old pro. When it came time for the big game, he'd be ready.
You got it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back to our story. The wagon train next headed up to Lone Pine, California to grab a few shots, then on to Portland, crossing the Panhandle River and the Rocky Mountains. Ray, the camera operator, noticed they had taken a wrong turn.
Excuse me, guys.
And they did some backtracking. It was here on the Columbia River that the company reconstructed a very fancy riverboat for Maverick's big poker game.
All right, let's stand by to rehearse, please. There'll be a separate cue for the whistle and the smoke.
Now, anybody with an ounce of horse sense would shoot movie scenes in the order they come on screen. And when horses start making movies, that's probably how it'll go. But two-legged filmmakers like to save time. And that's why our heroes ended up on a riverboat.
We're trying to achieve a look that really hasn't been achieved for most Westerns. We took reality, but we just stretched it into our realm. But we wanted to make sure that when you saw it, you know, it had a lot of impact.
Yeah, good. Oh, great. Oh, good.
Close your eyes, Annabelle. You're in the game.
Ah! I'm in the game.
You know, I just realized something. Huh? You are irresistible.
As the filming continued, a special bond started to form between the actors. Not at all uncommon, given the close proximity of working together day after day.
Well, I liked it just now when you called me Brett. One thing.
What, Brett?
When you're gonna bluff, never tap your fingernails on your teeth. That's your second giveaway. You gotta work on that.
Even at a time like this, you're thinking of others.
I think there's something special about a relationship between Maverick and Annabelle.
She's supposed to fall for Mel more than me. You know, Mel's a little goofy.
Every once in a while, an actor just has an incredible presence.
I really hate to be immodest, but I really don't feel that Jody was overwhelmed.
And I've only experienced it once. I just have to say that I was really fortunate.
Settles my case.
For the opportunity to work with Anthony Hopkins. Really fortunate.
Anthony Hopkins?
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
He do westerns.
Anyway, once the Portland scenes were finished, the caravan headed to Lake Powell, Arizona. There's a rumor they stopped off in Las Vegas, lost the Steadicam in an all-night poker game, but I doubt if that really happened. Now, when the boys in Hollywood want an old western town by a lake, well, they go to a lake and build an old western town.
Instead of the normal thing out in the desert, we built this magnificent, crazy, offbeat, bizarre, wonderful town on a body of water.
They called it Crystal River, and overnight, Crystal River became a boom town. As far as the actors go, things were going just fine. Camaraderie and good feelings still ruled the day. James Garner offered some interesting visual concepts.
Dick, I got another idea. You know, if we could get Mel in a fight, it's always good when the hero, you know, is
He's got a lot of fight, outnumbered.
He's outnumbered.
Well, he did a one-on-one. How many outnumbers?
I don't
Two
know.
guys fight two?
No, make it 5 or 6. Six would be plenty. Yeah, he
Six.
can handle that.
I'm gonna cut you up, fancy man.
The rumors that old Jimmy was behind Maverick's 6-man brawl were greatly exaggerated. The fact is, this moonlight ruckus was a carefully planned attack. It was Mick Rogers, the stunt coordinator for the film, and his rogues gallery of stuntmen that put it together.
Bang! Boom! Boom! Bang!
Then Mel stepped in to add his 2 cents.
Right? Oh, sorry. It's good if it starts like this.
Like it's a gentleman's fight.
Yeah.
This, well, here comes Johnny.
And under the hot desert sun, they rehearsed it
Stomach punch. Boom.
and rehearsed it
Smack!
and rehearsed it
And then back on.
till they got it right.
It's a fight. It's a good old-fashioned fight. They're gonna whip your ass.
And finally, as the moon rose over Crystal River, the cameras came out and they were ready to shoot.
Fight! Fight!
Filmmakers call all this fancy camera work coverage,
Just, let me see that one again.
which to you and I means you shoot it from every conceivable angle until you got yourself a big screen brawl.
Want to move him in a little tighter? I'd like to bang. Or have him out a little wider. You want to move him around a little? I would go again on these long lenses. One there is great. Ray, you getting the whip good when he first goes in? Ray?
These boys were having some fun.
Sorry, what do I do next? Backhand. Backhand. Okay, wait.
All right, cut it, print it. Thank you. Very good.
The next day was blistering hot. The wagon train had moved to the outskirts of Crystal River to the most unforgiving stretch of the Arizona desert to film the all-important runaway stagecoach scene. It was tough and dirty work, but it was that special bond that actors feel for each other that would see them through.
Are you mocking me?
We don't want you to get ruffled. Let's just say I was agreeing with you in a totally unusual way.
What would this world come to without true gentlemen like yourself?
I had a great time working with Jim and Mel. They're both pros. They're very different types of actors.
Back in the 50s, James Garner did a lot of his own stunts.
I grew out of it.
Well, that's putting it mildly, isn't it?
Mel is very impulsive and energetic.
Hey, old timer, wake up! Wake up!
Is he asleep?
No, I think it's more serious than that. I think he's dead.
Dead?
Yeah.
And Jim, well, he's always right there cheering him on.
Well, then get up and stop the stage.
Well, maybe goading him on is more accurate.
Stop playing around and stop those horses.
It's a great runaway stage. Hasn't been done in a lot of years like this. So when we were going to do this, you always go for the expertise. His name is Terry Leonard. He is and was one of the great stuntmen of our time, and he's become a stunt coordinator, a stunt director.
Because a lot of this is seat of the pants stuff.
You know, it's not a finite science. You can't computer it. You can't write a book about it, and it's almost like flying airplanes in the old days.
Don't worry, nothing to worry about. I got it all under control.
Well, I remember my first runaway stage.
You know, with Mel Gibson, if you set a shot and you have to go to the bathroom or something, when you come out, he's doing what the stuntmen are doing, and you want to kill him.
I don't want anybody to get hurt.
And so I didn't go to the bathroom all those days I was there.
Whenever possible, you know, I do my own stunts in his film.
What's he doing back there?
Sort of a, you know, tribute to the older generation.
Older generation?
Did he say that?
Did he say that?
And it was here, during the runaway stagecoach scenes, that James Garner made some important revisions to the Maverick shooting script.
Jim really had some wonderful ideas. He's very creative.
Older generation, huh? All right, let's see what the kid can do. A stagecoach careens dangerously toward the edge of the cliff. It hits a rut. Mel flies high into the air. And I keep him on his toes.
All right, ready? Action!
Cut it! Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
Take us back to base camp.
Take us back to base. That was wonderful.
Now let's talk a little bit about the leader of this crazy cattle drive. Of all the directors stomping around the Wild West, none is more likable, more fun,
50-50, 61. Okay, 60-40, give me the gun. Here we go.
Hey, here we go.
and more vocal
It's a good idea.
Action. Energy up. Action. Action. Ready, 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 ready. Action.
than Richard Donner.
Say what? Not so much.
This guy's exploits rival anyone's in the business, starting with a hitch or two directing TV in the 60s. From The Twilight Zone to Gilligan's Island, Donner did it all. But he always had one directing itch that needed to be scratched.
Back then, I did all those westerns. I did, you know, Have a Gun Will Travel, Wanted Dead or Alive, Rifleman, you name it practically, and I did it. And they never gave me a Maverick to direct. So I thought this was going to round out my career.
Suffice it to say, when you're hitched to Donner's wagon, you're in for a wild ride.
I just love working with him because of the atmosphere and the mood that gets created on the set, whereby you're allowed the freedom to just totally improvise.
He loves to make you feel free. And I always say it's the key to a really good director is you get this feeling that when they're behind the camera and they're looking at your face, they're inside your face instead of looking at your face. And it's a very comforting feeling.
She's gonna almost scream because she's getting in trouble, and you're gonna go 1, 2, get down, 3, up, up.
Do it again. Well, goddammit. Okay, stop.
1, 2, 3. Oh, wow.
Get up. Stand up, W. So, look serious.
The crew is just as much participating in the experience of the scene as anyone else. And Donner talks to them during the takes just as much as he talks to us.
Let's not stand around, boys.
Hip hop, hip hop.
Come on! All 3 cameras are exactly the same. Boring. Cut it.
Hi, kid. You look like hell.
Don't talk. You want to shoot it? Stop talking about it.
Thanks, Rick.
Clark?
Cut it.
What? Thank you.
Cut
Print
it.
it.
The hot desert sun and the dusty roads were beginning to take their toll. Donner took one look around and said, let's move them out. And so they did. On to Yosemite and Indians. Not your run-of-the-mill scenery and not your run-of-the-mill Indians.
Oh, we had kind of a lousy year. Not much left to hunt. So when this Russian Archduke came along and wanted to see the real West, so I said, okay. We get all dressed up in war paint and go whooping around like idiots. Of course, he's got to hear the war drums all the time.
Where else? Yosemite. At the height of the season, leaves turning, everything changing. An Indian village in the middle of Yosemite.
And rolling. Quiet. Don't talk.
You kind of go on this kind of odyssey with our hero as he goes from bad luck to worse luck.
It's a lot of gags, a lot of fast timing, a lot of improvising.
Let's shoot this. We'll be out of here by noon.
Now Now, as Maverick prepared for the big poker game, the crew headed from Yosemite down to Hollywood. Warner Brothers, home of the greatest westerns of all time. It was inside these stages they'd be shooting the climactic scenes of Maverick. Now, remember that riverboat we saw way back when? Well, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. The interiors of that riverboat were all recreated right here on a sound stage. And it was on this set that the big game took place.
All right, gamblers, step right up and bring your money.
The championship game, $25,000 dinner, $500,000 to the win. Winner takes all. And it's my intention, of course, to win it.
I have 2 small pair. 8s. And 8s.
The word spread like wildfire. Famous TV cowboys, old Western stuntmen, and country musicians descended on the Warner Brothers lot. No one was missing out on this game. Yep, Maverick was in town, and the storytelling, card-playing party was in full swing.
Hi, I'm Doug McClure, and I played Trampus on the Virginia.
Hi, I'm Kathy Mattea. I'm a country music singer.
I'm Robert Fuller, Laramie and Wagon Train.
Hi, I'm Waylon Jennings, and I'm a country singer. You might have heard 1 or 2 of my songs.
Whoops. This is probably the best way to be inducted into acting because I got caught cheating, so I was supposed to be scared, and I probably looked it.
It was fun.
Oh, yeah, we're having a great time, you know. Where can you get so many crazy guys all together, you know, we haven't seen for a long time.
Hi, Reed Morgan. If you remember The Deputy with Henry Fonda, 60 and 61.
And to work for Donner, you know, that's an experience.
I think all singers want to be actors and all actors want to be singers.
You know, there's a funny thing about Hollywood. It doesn't matter whether you're a wrangler or a movie star. What everybody really wants to do is direct.
There was this one scene, you know, and everybody had an opinion. Back and forth, Dan.
I had it all lit to shoot it one way, and then Mel walks up.
Well, I said to Dick, Dick, I know what you know, he's been at it for a long time. I said, I know you know what you're doing, but if I was directing this, you know, I'd sort of want the camera kind of lower angle, you know.
And then Jody comes up.
And I was just kind of thinking, you know, maybe it would be better if the shot was just sort of looking up high, like we did in Little Man Tate, for example, which we looked into the trees, and there was this sort of doppled light magical experience.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, you get that sense of danger.
Caught up in a magical, transcendent, sort of Zen-like experience, and I thought, well, we should be looking up.
Don't worry about it. Everybody wanted to do it their way.
I like that particular take for the bit before.
We should be looking up.
Down by Maverick's gun.
But it looked fine, and you know, what the hell?
It can be really effective.
And I'm looking for help, and there's Jimmy Garner.
So finally, you know, I just told them how we used to do it. We put the camera here, we put the actors there, and they say the words.
And that's just what we did.
Well, I still think it would have been better my way.
Thank God we had Jim Garner.
He did save us a lot of time.
It's excellent.
It seemed like there was no end to Jimmy Garner's frontier wisdom and knowledge of cowboy lore. And creatively speaking, he was on a roll.
Dick. You know what we used to do in the old days?
Jim, I don't know about the old days, Jim. I used to watch it on television. I was too young.
You're too young, but when we did that, you know, you get a guy on a horse with a noose around his neck. Put Mel up there, you know.
Great idea.
Well, if you could get me out of this, I don't mean to be too presumptuous, but...
Wait, what kind of safety is that on that? I mean, what if the horse slips out from underneath Mel or
make it the last shot in the picture? What do you care?
Well, without giving too much away, let's just say Mel was well enough to hop on a bus with Jimmy Garner and head to Nashville. Here the boys joined country's top superstars to record the greatest gospel song of all time for the Maverick soundtrack.
I thought it was a good idea to get a whole bunch of people together.
The turnout here is just very exciting. I'm an old country fan. I love country music. Atlantic's making an album, and this is going to be one of the records on it. All the proceeds go to charity.
So there you have it. That's pretty much the legend of the making of Maverick, at least the way I heard it. And even though these filmmakers are a humble lot, not taking to brag much, I know they're pretty happy with the way it all turned out.
I'm just really proud of the film.
I think we've done some real good work here.
Maverick really breaks some new ground.
I think it sets a new standard.
I think it sets a new standard for the Western genre.
It's
good and pure.
Good, wholesome.
a reverent tribute to everything good and pure in the American spirit.
It's an important film.
I don't mean to exaggerate.
Well, I don't mean to exaggerate.
Really important.
I think we changed filmmaking.
Possibly forever.
A Dick Donner motion picture tribute to the Old West.
We're not talking Oscar material. We're talking
Nobel Prize.
A Richard Donner film.
It's a Western. It's got good guys, bad guys, guns, sweaty horses, and some poker. It's a Western.
It's a great Western.
and funny.